we haven't had to do a problem like 61 and setting it up into its standard form of the equation when you have your parabola. So when you have a problem that looks like that, when you have one that looks like that, what you want to start with is realize, well, actually, it's very easy to notice that it's going to be a parabola. Why is it very easy to notice that it's a parabola? There's only one thing that's squared. Next, guys, you'll notice that since there's only one thing squared and it's an x squared, you also know the direction. It's either going to be up or down. Why is the music on still? Good. So I know it's either going to be up or down. So I need to set it up to figure it out to look like this. X minus h quantity squared equals 4p y minus k. I need to get into that to find my h and k and the value of p to figure out where the focus is. So we move things around. We get x squared plus 4x plus blank. Might as well do that right away. And that's going to have to equal 8y minus 12. Moving those two over. Okay. Break your parentheses to do your completing the square, and I'm going to get half of 4 is half of positive 4 is positive 2. When I square that, I'm going to add 4 here and here, which gives me 8y minus 8. I am almost to the format that I need it to look like, but yet the right side of the equation now is just 8y minus 8. I needed to make it look like 4p y minus k in parentheses, which means I got to factor something out of that. Factor out what? What's the GCF? 8. Basically, it's not just the GCF, but even if this was 18, you're going to get this value out. Always take out the coefficient of whatever y is. That's the rule. Okay? That's going to be your rule here. So if I take out the coefficient of y, I'm going to get x plus 2 quantity squared equals 8, y minus 1. And now I have an hk of negative 2 and 1, and a p-value of, very good. And I promise I'll fix that today. I just remembered. I'm sorry. Then yell at me to make sure I do it. Okay. So now, from there, it's pretty easy. Do you need me to walk through how to find the focus and the directrix? Are you okay with that?
Might as well finish it.
Yeah, can you do the directrix?
Sure. All right, let's do the directrix part. No problem. So this one's placed at negative 2 and 1. My p-value is positive, so I know it's going to have to open upward. So to the focus is 2 more up. So my focus is at negative 2 and 3. My directrix would be at here. Since it's going to be opening upward, my directrix is going to have an equation of a line that is y equals negative 1. You're done.
So the directrix is just like the opposite?
Yes. The directrix is the opposite of p. That's right. The distance is the opposite of p. Okay?
Do you have to label the directrix?
Yes, because that is when the things you have to label if it's a parabola: vertex, focus, directrix. Ellipse, center, vertices, co-vertices, foci. Hyperbola, center, vertices, co-vertices, foci, equations of the the diagonal asymptotes. Circle, center, radius. Circle seems really, really difficult. How many circle problems do you think you might see?
0.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not done with it yet. We're working on it.
Let's hope all of them. Probably 1.
I don't know. I'm not done yet. Which one? Sure.
Yeah, this is 6, it's not the...
So this one's actually really easy because your coefficients for x squared and y squared are both 1. You don't have to worry about taking out any scale multiplier at all in order to complete the square. So what I do is jump right to the parentheses. I have an x. I know that it's half of negative 12. It would be negative 6. When I square it, I bring it back up. Have you guys noticed the reason why I space things out and how I place things in here? I'm dropping this right to here. I write this down. I square this, and it comes right to there. It's like this parabola effect. What are you whining about?
Well, since I brought up parabolas,
Sorry. Anyway, do the same thing.
get an A+ for effort.
Gee, thanks. You're the best.
It's more like a B-. Yeah, A+ for effort and let me play. I'm very thankful.
Hey, notice in this case, your A and your B values are the same because right now they're both over 1. Circle with a center of 6 and 6 and a radius of. It's the devil circle.
Oh.
So your center is at 6, 6. You have a radius of 6. It means you go up 6, left 6, down 6, and right 6. And then you make your circle. Bless you. Hey, look at that. That's not bad for guesstimating where it's going to wind up there. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's like drawn to scale, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir.
The bottom point is
because I hit the button first. Just hit that. 57 has a nice trick to it that you have to be very careful about. When you look at 57, you don't have to worry about completing the square for the x squared portion. You just have a coefficient. But you will have to, guys, come on. You do have to worry about it with the second part. What happens before you complete? What happens before you complete the square here, and this is where you guys will make your mistake. Before you complete the square, what does the coefficient of the y squared term have to be? It has to be 1. Right now it's negative 1. So I have to take the negative 1 out to be able to do this. That's what you have to do for that problem. The x doesn't have to be completely squared because there's no b term, there's no c term. It's just 16x squared. Okay. So I go ahead and complete the square here. I'm going to get 16x squared minus 1. This would be y minus 4 squared.
Why did you change it to an 8y though? I thought it was 16.
Oh, I didn't realize I did that. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that. I didn't even realize I wrote that. I got ahead of myself about taking halves or something like that. I'm really sorry. Thank you for catching that. So I take half of the negative 16 and I get negative 8. And I'm adding the 64. And you get that. And now when you divide everything out, this is technically then x minus 0 quantity squared. 16 over 64 is 4 minus y minus 8 quantity squared over 64 is 1. So you wind up with that. So you don't have to throw that x minus 0 in there if you don't want to. Just remember that your h value is going to be 0 in this case. It has to be because there's nothing else through it. and then just go from there. Okay? Sorry about that. There's things, people you could probably talk to, but if there's a problem, I can put you a phone. Sure about that? That's not what I've heard. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Thank you. Thank you. If you got that one, thank you.
I did.
It is left right.
We had a LL Cool J lyric. LL Cool J. He's a right? He was a rapper. Really? Yes.
Like old?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you?
No.
Is that a voice that told you to say no?
One half the tie is this one, the other half is the other.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Most of my ties are like that.
Yes.
I know friends don't want to that partnership something that's better.
Lines are being
I know it's been migrating to
Well, on
Yes. No, he's a freshman. Anyways, he goes to the kicker.
he's their birth.
No, he doesn't.
Or he knows he's
If you don't start as a freshman as a kicker, you're not going to college. If you're not going to start over semester in high school, you'll never be one of the up there in the
Probably.
Yes.
His kickers are useless. Like, legit, you can have one kicker playing like 3 games at once for 3 different teams.
when you swear, whatever you swear is what you're adding.
I mean, you can't go to 3 different colleges to play them. So.
Oh, I don't have memorized. Yes, sir.
Okay, I had a question on
Which one?
53. It was just like after. It's just because the B squared is bigger than the A squared.
53 and 45.
Did I do this one yesterday in class?
Yeah.
Yes, but I have it to the point that you went to. You never finished it out.
That's what they all say.
So you're here.
I have it to. I have the equation. No, I got it to the equation. I divided by 9.
Hey, guys, please. Please. Give me 1 second. Okay, all right. So you got it. You have it up to this point here.
No, I have it in the.
So you drop it. You drop it down. So you have x. So half of that is -4. Square it. You get 16 here, and 16 here.
Yeah.
Do the same thing here. So you have -1. Y -4 again squared. 16 here and a 16 here.
Yep.
When you combine all of these, what did you get?
9.
9.
And then I have.
So
I
now
divided by 9 for all of them.
divide everything by 9. Okay. So if you divide it by 9, you're on the right track. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. So now you have the quantity x -4 squared over 1
Yeah.
minus y -4 quantity
9.
squared over 9 is 1. Okay.
Yeah, and then I just.
It's left and right with an a squared of 1 and a b squared of 9 and a c squared of 10.
For some reason, I thought the A squared had to be bigger.
It is. Is it 1 bigger than a -9?
I guess, yeah.
You want to think of it that way.
I didn't.
Look at your formula. Now remember,
Yeah, I didn't see the negative.
all you have to remember here is when you guys get, guys, this goes for a lot. I've been asking this question, people have been asking this question a ton about hyperbolas. You get hung up with the idea about which one is which for your formulas. When you're looking at your hyperbola, once you get it in the generic form, the only thing that matters is what came first, x or y. If x comes first, it's left and right. The a squared and b squared is always a squared's the first one, b squared's the second. I told Haley this one, I've told you this one now, I've told a couple other people. When you have the idea that a squared is bigger than b squared with ellipses, isn't a squared bigger than b squared here because b squared's a negative?
Yeah.
You want to think of it that
about the
way.
negative.
Oh, you forgot the negative?
Yeah,
That'll be an
it
issue.
makes sense now.
So really, it's only for
Since. Okay.
Alright, what do you got?
on the test, you have to write the vertex and the
I'm going to tell you all about that here in a second. Okay? When it comes back down to the test stuff then, obviously what we've worked on is basically all 4 of your shapes. We've had parabolas, circles, ellipses, hyperbolas. You've had basically those 4 shapes. We haven't done anything else. We did not. I thought about if we were going to test Friday, what I was trying to sneak in between today and tomorrow was the systems of equations of this stuff. But I thought that might be a little bit too messy to go with, so that's why I'll just wait on that one. We'll probably do that Friday and Monday. Yeah, Miss Lori, what's up? Yeah. So when you go back through these things, the basic idea is kind of the same thing for everything. As long as you know what your A, B, and C's relate to, it's a matter of formula work. I'm not making you memorize the formulas because they're either going to be on the calculator if I let you use the calculator, or I will give you a sheet of paper with all of the formulas on there. Yes, ma'am?
You did the first circle, you did the line tangent.
And I'll do another example of that for you in a second.
So that is
I don't know. I'm not done writing the test yet.
probably one of each of these. Does it first
If looks
period?
could kill, it's
Does
great.
it first period tomorrow? If you look studying
I have some extra problems. I mean, we've done everything there is. I mean, there's nothing much else out there.
So are some of these problems going to be on?
I'm going to answer the question with somebody with their hand up first.
Oh, sorry. Ow.
Come on, your high five stunk.
Seriously.
Come on!
She did not let her
Sorry, go on.
Do we get to use like
No.
a dumb calculator?
If I don't let you use that one, yes.
Alright.
So can we just the dumb calculator messes with my brain the line to it? It like makes me feel cracked.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah, I don't.
Like the whole calculus.
Miss Haley. Well, look, guys. Oh, I'm not that smooth. You think I would just give you the same problem over again?
That'd be great. I thought it last year.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place to give you guys stuff. I may or may not have extra material. I thought I heard. I may or may not have extra material lying around that I may or may not have given you every problem possible yet. So there might be still stuff out there that you have not seen, but it might look a lot like things you have seen. Because it's really difficult to mess with you guys with something like this. And people are asking about what do we have to worry about with word problems, stuff like that. Now, let me ask you this. Have we done a single one in the past 2 weeks? No.
So not one.
Because, to be honest with you, there's the word problems that we have in the book about these things are awful. They're really very difficult to work contextually. So these are more or less formulaic. What are the equations of these and stuff like that. There's not much to this. We will, on the other hand, get around to more of the word problem stuff when we get back into polynomials later next week. Because within polynomials, we can do certain things. We can talk about increasing and decreasing, where things are going through, where things change values, stuff like that. We can look at intervals and find localized maximums within ranges and stuff. It's very simple to do. But for this is a very formulaic process thing. Technically speaking, over the past 4 or 5 years that we've done this section, you tend to do rather well on it. You have to trust the fact that you know what do you have to apply to this. What is A? What is B? What is C? How do you make it work? Okay, Joyce, what do you got?
I was just asking because for the hyperbolas,
Yeah.
I like to forget what we need to all that we need to label our name.
I'm glad you asked that. I will tell you what you have to have written down. I've always been if I say label all the important parts, you may know how to do all the important parts, but let's say you forget to label a couple things. I will put on the test, and I always do this for when I want specific things written down. I will say, if it's a hyperbola, where is your center? What's your vertex? And I'll do this, I'll write them all out. What is the equation of the asymptotes? If needed. I'll put in if needed, so it's like a dummy part for all the questions, okay? That way you can check off that you've done it, and you know that it's there. Does that make sense? because I don't believe that I've never been one to try to trick you guys on anything. That's not right. What are you trying to do? The application is what the value of x is. The x is 15. Where do you substitute? You substitute a cost, you substitute into a sales. You substitute into cost because he's asking about price. That's not a trick. That is an application.
The calculators, though, they mess with my mind.
You have to know, be smarter than calculator.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Then he was probably cut.
Any what? For you, yes.
I was gonna say, what about turning sugar calculators?
What's that?
Nah, I think that was trying to trick us.
When it took your
You didn't tell us you were taking your figures from like. Good thing I didn't know how to use my calculator either, so it's not like you were taking anything.
Wait, why did you take that calculator?
Because-
there was an I button
Because the I button.
that no one even knew about.
So,
It was the I and I on the test about
is he bothering you?
No.
So when you go through a lot of the other stuff, there are times, and there will be times that I won't let you use a calculator. There are going to be a lot of non-calculator tests and quizzes coming up here.
Let us know what it means. Wait, like not a calculator at all?
Yeah, if you, but a lot of, I mean, technically you don't need a calculator for this. You don't need a calculator for this at all.
I'm just really bad at doing basic math sometimes, but I like to check my work.
Okay, so I can divide stuff for the hyperlog. We need the equation of the asymptote. And then do you need like
No, there's, all right, there's,
the slopes of whatever.
so you have the co-vertex, foci. It's basically, you have to find the equation of the asymptotes, but you're going to find the slopes first, and then you use, when you have your rectangular box there, as this goes through, what point do both asymptotes go through? The center. So you'd use that point slope form with that center there.
Okay. So it's just the asymptote with.
Yeah. But then you put it in the slope intercept form. You always get y by itself.
Isn't it?
No, because the point slope is y minus y sub 1. If you move the y over, then simple, you want to get it y equals mx plus b. Yes, ma'am.
Can we go over like a tangent?
A circle tangent? Sure. If I'm not mistaken, circle tangents were in circles. Go figure. Then they look like this. And it was, this would have been written as, write the equation of the line tangent to the circle given by the equation blah, blah, blah. Okay? So when you have that, you're given the equation of a circle, x squared plus y squared equals 40. This one happens to be centered where? At the origin. This one's centered at the origin. My radius is the square root of 40. The square root of 40 is bigger than the square root of 36, but smaller than the square root of 49. So that means it's going to be somewhere between 6 and 7.
So with all the square roots, can we just like approximate what for all these lines?
Look at that.
It's not bad. I'm pretty good at this whole approximation thing. Now, when you're, if it asks, now there's different times. If you have to do your, like, if you're guessing where your foci is going to be placed, it's like 2 root 10. You know it's going to be a little bit more than 6.
Like,
But then when you
as
write
long
out your
as
ordered
it's
pair, you'd say 2 plus whatever.
Yeah.
So now I have that, and I want to be placed at -2 and 6. I want to write the equation of the line that hits that point there. And remember, when you're tangent, that means you are perpendicular to the radius. So in order for something to be perpendicular to the radius, that's when you have to mess around with their slopes. So in this case, the slope of my radius, it's moving up and left, or down and right, it's going to be a negative slope because I went up 6 and left 2. So the original slope here is 6 over negative 2, otherwise known as negative 3. Because I went up is positive, left is negative. So now, what's perpendicular to negative 3? What's the opposite reciprocal? 1/3, very good. So my perpendicular slope is 1/3. And I need to go through the points, what was it, negative 2 and 6?
Yeah.
So now I just write it out as y minus 6 is 1/3 x plus 2. And then when I add my 6 over, I'm going to add it over as 18 thirds.
Press the button on your calculator, it'll do the fraction for you. You can still use parentheses and hit math enter, it'll work.
Did you get that? Just a lot. That's a great conversation.
Well, okay, could you write like y equals 1/3 x plus b and then substitute in the 2 points and find b?
Yeah, if you want. That's another method. I've never been a fan of that method. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, in my day, we did this with cholera, and we liked it. I don't know. It was just, it was a lot of drill and kill with that, where we just, shut up. So what happens is, the only reason that I use point slope form, it's like a warm blanket. It's comforting.
It's really cold.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
There you go.
Hyperbolus?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
ask us for the
Yeah.
estimate.
Yeah, buddy.
What would it look like if it weren't centered at yours?
If it were not, glad you asked. If you have a circle, let's say you have a circle that's centered at 3 and 2. And the point on the circle, let's say it had a radius of 5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you have that, close. So if you have that, and let's say your point on the circle was here, you would just have to find the slope between those 2 points.
Would they give us the center?
They would give you the center, and they would have to give you the point on the circle. So you just have to find the slope by doing your slope.
It's like how much?
Rise and run.
It just still.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then you
It's
throw that into the point slope.
perfect. You're going to do the same thing. It's just it's adding 2 values. Is what it does. It's not
It's
terrible.
like when I looked at the one you gave us, I was like trying to figure out how to find the word, and then I forgot it was just like a 0, 0.
Math.
So it would give us the center.
Aaron.
The problem that you just did,
Yeah.
like,
I'm not avoiding you. I'm just getting thirsty. I want some water.
wait, what was that?
Slope. See how I went up 6 and left 2?
Then it just had negative 2 6.
What's the equation of the line that's in the circle, blah, 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 through the point negative 2, 6? So that point negative 2, 6 is on the circle. So they're going to have to give you the point that they want you to tangent. I don't know. I've written
Yes, you have 2 failing classes.
As long as you take 7 classes.
Yeah, you said the first 5. Or if you have like 9 P's, you only need to pass it. Well, no, you're in soccer, student for Sunday night like football. Our coaches, you're about football, they'll say these papers or whatever. Even school, they get pictures. No, they only care about football.
The soccer coach is super nice. The only coach that's saying I was 10.
Are you guys all 6?
Well, and he's gonna be there longer than they were. Really, the other kids got moved down to seniors.
That's awesome. That's great. That's the trick where you're because that's all. Yeah, speaking of which, I have them. I just have you guys just take a picture. It's easier. Now, I will say a couple of things. When I went back to try and find some extra problems for you guys to look at, I pulled up the ones that I did last year. And then I realized right away after I did that, this year I changed it ever so slightly. So,
Is this a partner quiz?
oh, jeez. You don't want like a table or a partner quiz for me. Seriously, you think you guys thought like sevs were bad?
I didn't have that.
So, a couple things on here. I will tell you. Obviously, numbers 1 and 2, we didn't do those at all like this during conic section. You don't have to worry about 1 and 2. Okay, there's nothing like that because that's vertex form. That's different. We did that already. Okay. What's that? Because last year I combined a little bit of the parabola stuff with this section of it. This year I didn't do that, so I changed it up.
So just correct it 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's easy to do. What, Daniel?
What is P
I'm getting
mean for parabola?
As you go through the next bit here, just like Daniel was saying, do we have to do 21 to 24? I tried to do your voice, but it didn't work.
What is it?
Because you weren't happy about it. You're normally upbeat. You gotta be more upbeat. You're cutting down problems.
Guys, it's not that hard.
When it's over, you're happy.
This is homework, is this?
What are you? Now, if you look at 21 through 24, it's systems of equations. Systems of equations of conic sections. Yes, that is a thing. We will probably be doing that on Friday. But what's that? We haven't done it yet, so don't worry about those last 4. That's something, like I said, that was the one section that I was contemplating to start today, and I don't think I could do it justice with just a little half day here and with a little bit of review before a test. So we'll probably work on that from Friday into Monday. No, because I wanted to go over the homework from last night. So that way, Friday into Monday we'll work on that, because next week we have a weird week where it's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's the half day on Thursday. So my guess is that we'll be doing the 10-7 stuff here, which is the systems thing, and then we'll probably also do the shaded region. The shaded overlap here and here, and I'll probably come up with some very short 20-minute quiz then for that Thursday. All right, just so you guys know. Well, basically it works out to be, Haley, because I've done this quiz before in that time frame, it's like 3 questions, and it takes just 10 minutes. You'd be surprised. Have a little bit of faith.
Like my favorite color, my middle name.
I don't know either.
You know what? I've actually had that question on. I've done that question before on an extra credit quiz, or an extra credit. It said, "What is the color of Mr. Plaskota's black truck?" People wrote. Quite literally, the question was, "What is the color of Mr. Plaskota's black truck?" People wrote on there, Who's Mr. Plaskoda? I've never had him before. I don't know. Who is Mr. Plaskoda? Who's that? I don't know he has a truck. How do you know he has a truck? I'm not lying. You know, and I've done more for myself. When I had a Suburban, what's the color of my white Suburban? Wait, you have a Suburban? I thought you drove a Honda. Or people are what? People are like, I thought you drove this. You know, I'm like, how do you not read? You know, so there is a time and a place where, you know, I do try to have a little bit of fun with the question here or there. One of the last time you guys didn't like it. Last one was guys, here's the answer ones here. I know that I think on questions 3 and 4, it asks you to write it into vertex form. Write it in terms of 4p, like we've been doing, so the answers are incorrect here on this. That's what I was going to hope that you guys do. So I'm going to leave them here. If you guys want to take a couple of pictures, do that. Now at least you get the semi.
Good thing we're not playing that.
All right.
What? Good thing we're not playing.
Remember, if you guys have questions about any of these things tomorrow, swing by in the morning. I'll be in the room. I'll be here early, so you don't have to worry about it. All right? Absolutely.
I've heard Williams is
Yeah, that I have I co-teach front tower. I might have just not been in the room. Right, I might have walked to a different room to go do something else. I was on a session. I left a note on the door.
I mean, that's really not hard.
I don't think any team can play.
Like, is kicking competitive when you see other teams kick? Like, do you get mad?
Not really. It's not really like a close contest.
When you see like another team's kicker kick, you really laugh.
Yeah, basically that.
Today is not a negative 10 to 11.
Draw it first. Drawing is really key. And that's the idea when you use it at H&K, you still just distribute the values. That's it. Because that's the only format we did with these things. I didn't do it the other way around this time, this year.
I'm touching the, I'm going to gas change.